Hello, and welcome to Gating Experience, the show where we talk about Dungeons and Dragons and all the cool things that go into it. How to run a game and be the best dungeon master or game master you can be. I'm here with the RPG, the role playing guru, Howard, as always, all the time. Howard, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I I'm okay. Well, last week you got cut off in the middle of something.
I did.
Would you like to complete that thought before we move on?
All right. So I was saying that if you are a true believer in Palor or whatever you've made your healing cleric, don't go and take a level in Warlock with a fiend pack because you want to get those extra hit points during combat and some access to some new spells unless it fits your character. Dipping into other classes is neat and awesome for powers, but if it doesn't fit the character, don't do it. That's part of making your games more dramatic. But now that we are moving on, sorry about all that.
What is the topic for this week?
Cheating. We were gonna talk about cheating. When is it okay at all? Should anyone do it? And what kinds of cheating are there? I don't know what else you can talk about cheating.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more. As always, this is a discussion. We want to reach out to people who are watching this. Unfortunately, somehow our comments got disabled for the live stream. I hope you'll be able to put down comments after the fact. Please comment. We want to hear from you. If you like this video, give it a like. And remember, we're here every Wednesday night, so subscribe so you can watch us all the time. And if you want to support the channel even more, there's an adventure I wrote in the description. Check it out, buy it. It's only it's less than $5. I mean, I'm practically giving it away.
If you're watching us live and you really want to comment, open up a notepad, put your comments in there, all your trash talk, and then please copy paste that directly in right after this gets posted and you can comment. Because we love your trash talk and we'd like to talk about it. Or compliments, if that happens.
So the first thing we like to do every episode is play a game called I Did Not See That Coming, where one person gives out an adventure hook and the other person gives it a slight twist. It goes in a direction no one ever thought it would. And it's there to kind of help us think on our feet, kind of loosen us up. And it's a good game mastering tool. You never know what your players are going to do and when you're going to have to run with that kind of thing.
Yep, I like it.
Also, if you are following me on Facebook or Twitter, I put down an RPG hook once a day, or mostly once a day. I missed yesterday, but I got it back today. Howard, would you like to go first?
Sure. All right. So keep in mind, during these scenarios, you're the dungeon master, and the idea is we put forth what's going on in your game, then you are supposed to think of what to do to make the game more interesting. And then, I'm starting it, so I'm going to give the scenario. And because you're not here, Corey's going to do the other half. Ready? You're on a boat. And, well, your party is on a boat. It is a long, boring journey. Your party has made all the appropriate rolls. So, they have navigated appropriately. They are working against the winds and the tides. And you are making your encounter rolls, and you're not getting any exciting encounters. Your party is just cruising along. It's a sunny day. The wind is appropriate. They have another week to go. And then...
Oh, nice. You put me on the spot like that, huh? For my own adventure.
You're my bestie.
And then termites. Since your crew does not know about boats and doesn't like to get into the bilge water, they They don't do that. You noticed that there are termites in the upper decks, but the queen's not up there. It's down in the bilge, and that's where the nest is.
Nice. All right. Now you've added some drama. And for the record, when this actually occurred, I did in fact hire a carpenter to put him on the boat.
Yes. So, if you have a different twist you'd like to put, please in the comments after the stream is over. Okay, Howard, here is my RPG plot that you have to twist.
All right, let's go.
A little girl would find a strange visitor outside her window every night. A goblin who she befriends and feeds. Then, the goblin tribe attacks, killing most of the people in the town and abducting the little girl. The goblins think they're saving her, and they raise her as her own. She grows up to become part of the goblin tribe, and now she goes from town to town, sizing them up for the goblins. Then...
All right, so trying to figure out where the party fits in. All right, so they are. I'm going to assume that my party is somewhere in the next town, about to be sized up for a goblin raid.
Yes.
Does that sound good? Okay. All right, your party encounters the little girl. She's
grown up now.
Oh, she's full grown.
She's
an
full grown
adult
girl.
woman.
Yes.
You see an adult woman dressed in some shoddy clothing and piecemeal armor, and she is walking around town eyeballing people. And your party will go ahead and give them the backstory, I guess, since that's what you've given. Your party is aware that there are goblins outside of town, dressed in similar clothing. There's piecemeal armor and the shoddy clothing. And you think you spotted her earlier. So we're going to give the PCs all of what you just gave them. The twist is one of the PCs, preferably someone with noble background or a bard who has knowledge of history and lore, recognizes this girl as looking very much like a deceased royal person, and very possibly is the missing daughter of this legacy.
That's interesting. So now she's the Goblin Queen.
Perhaps. But more importantly, you can't just go kill her. She's supposed to be in charge.
That's cool. I would have went with she falls in love with like one of the PCs or something weird like that.
And the PC's like, I ain't touching you, goblin trash.
If you have a better twist, of course, in the comments after this stream. So let's get into our main topic. Our main topic is cheating. So if you don't mind, I'll kind of put out the first little part of the cheating bracket here. The first thing we need to talk about, of course, is how to spot cheating. There are many different kinds of cheating, and I'd like to talk about those for a second. Some people just roll their die and just proudly proclaim whatever number they want, especially if their dice are dark. Watch out for people with dark dice. If you can't read the numbers...
There's not a good differentiation between the lettering or the numbering and the die itself.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a white die, but if it doesn't have good black lines in it, you still can't see anything.
Rolling on your lap. You got your book down here, you roll down here because you're way back down on the couch. That die could be anything.
You know what one of my favorites is? The guy who sits there and he rolls dice just randomly because he's fidgeting. But then he gets a 20 and goes, hey, I just rolled a 20. Can I save that for my next roll? No, you rolled 30 times, dude.
Speaking of that, there's the guy who rolls the die and then picks it up.
Oh. Not naming names. Mm.
Then this one is specific to games with a dice pool. If you have like many like d6s or d10s that you're rolling, they'll roll the dice one at a time, and if the die that they just rolled is low, they'll try to knock that die with the next die that they roll.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one happen. I have definitely seen that one.
Yeah, so then there's the person who miscalculates his hit points, or can't read his character sheet because it's smudged too much, but he knows what's on there. So these are all kinds of players cheating.
I've also played in live action role play where we had to bring an experience point log to every game, and there's always the guy who's I've lost my log, but I know what I had on my character sheets, and it was all the powers.
It was all of them.
Every power.
So a lot of these times, the person who's cheating, he's your friend. You're playing a game together, and y'all are all together because it's, y'all are just trying to have fun. So how do you handle all of these different types of cheating once it's been clear? And what if you're a player sitting right next to that person, you look over and you see that he cheated? Do you call him out? Things get awkward very fast.
Truly. Because you gotta then start weighing things. Corey, my best friend, he and I are playing in a game together. Am I gonna call out Corey? I don't want to call out Corey because he's my best friend, and he might even beat me dinner after the game. It's happened, and the reverse has happened. Just for the record.
I've been very hungry sometimes, very, very hungry.
So you don't want to call out your friend and make your friend hate you. At the same time, it's blatantly unfair to you if that guy has a distinct advantage because he's cheating, and you know he's cheating. What to do? I would say try and talk to your friend on the sly. Like, not at the game, but after the game. Let that one game go by with him being godlike in his roles, and then talk to him. Be like, hey, Corey, gotta talk about last game, man. I saw what you did, and it really bothers me. Can you cut the crap?
So
I'm using Corey because he's here. I'm not saying Corey's a big cheater.
I had a friend who cheated in one game and would always have high rolls unless it was a roll he felt that didn't matter. Then it would be low. That one would be low. But when it really mattered, it would always be high.
One of those tricks is everybody at the table roll perception. Well, if you let everybody else roll first and some of them got it, you don't need to get it.
Yep. But the game master was onto his tricks, his sly tricks, and had everybody roll some random rolls. And he was like, look at this, I rolled a 99. And then the game master proudly stated, that's how many boulders hit you. Basically, he found a way to use his cheating against him by tricking him into making rolls that hurt him, by making highs hurt, just kind of flipping the script for that one time.
So you're suggesting you stop the cheating by telling people make the roll first, then say, that was perception. So what is a 17 on the die equal for your perception? Or that was for the things attacking you. Sorry. I like that. That's interesting. That's a good solve. That is a good solve.
And I think one of the reasons this worked very well is because of the circumstances. Everybody at the table kind of knew he was cheating. And so when the Game Master did that, all of the other players were kind of on the Game Master's side at that point.
I could totally see that. One of the solutions I've seen to cheating is let's say you're at a big table. Because really, if the guy's right in front of you, you can see what he's doing and be like, dude, I can see what you're doing. I'd like you not to do that. But if it's a big table, and you can't, or let's say you're playing in the living room and you're in a chair, other guys in a chair, you got two people on the couch across from you, and they're rolling on a book. Just say, hey, I can't see everybody's dice, so I need the guy next to you to witness your rolls. It's a little harder to get the guy next to you to cheat with you. Not impossible. You can have two guys join the game and they're totally willing to vouch for each other and be gods. And if that occurs, and I'm saying guys, I know it can be girls too, but if that occurs, you're going to have to confront them. You're going to have to eventually say, look, guys or gals, uh, I don't know how important winning is to you in this game, but it's an unfair advantage that you're taking over the other players and you're ruining the fun for others. You got to stand up. You have to have that confrontation eventually. But there are lots of little tricks you can use before it gets to that point.
Do you think that there's times where you should just kind of let that go? Like, you see that he cheated, but it was really kind of a role that forwarded your plot or made things easier in the game just to go.
No, well, yes and no. There are times, very little will I let it go. If it, like, absolutely, I won't let it go. But I'll remember it if I don't call it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, let's say I'm going to use you again as an example. I know you're not a big cheater, but I'm going to just keep pointing at you. All right. So I see you do something inappropriate, like that deal where you roll one of your d6s and then you try and hit it with another d6 to turn it. All right. So I'm watching you roll your damage dice, and I'm like, interesting. Next time, I'm going to say, hey, can you roll all your damage dice together? Because honestly, it doesn't matter that much. And this is another form of cheating that I'm going to bring up. You're the dungeon master. You're in charge of watching the game and making sure it's fair. If I see Corey, I'm using again just an example. I see you cheat. I've got a DM screen in front of me. I can, even without a DM screen, I can mentally add 5 hit points at any point to my NPC and counterbalance your bullcrap. It's not that hard. And that comes to a whole nother thing that I want to talk about, which is DM cheating. I don't know if you're ready for that yet.
I guess we can get to that right now. Let's go to DM cheating. This is a huge hot button issue because a lot of people say that this is okay, while other people say that this is also really unfair.
Okay, here are my thoughts. I, as Dungeon Master, would like to present you with a game that is fun and challenging because I have had it happen where I have run the game completely square, had the NPCs get toasted, and people then complain that it was too easy, and vice versa, have my NPCs win, and people say the game is too hard. So I have, and I'm not going to lie here, I have mid-combat adjusted my NPCs as I see how combat is going, either making them stronger or weaker. And that is blatant cheating if it went from the other side. If the players were doing that, if they were just like, let me stack some more hit points on myself real quick, we all know that's cheating. But from the storyteller side, the guy who's trying to make the game fun for everyone, do those rules still apply? And the answer is sorta. And I say that because it's okay for your players to just run down an NPC and kill him and be like, that was easy. You as the dungeon master need to be like, it was. That guy who was supposed to be the big bad evil guy is now actually the lieutenant of the true evil mastermind, and prepare your much harder thing that's now going to be coming for them. You can do it that way. And if it's the reverse, if you knock your party out and force them to run or whatever, you can still fix this because they can go get stronger and you can better balance the next encounter. If you TPK, if you total party kill, that's when it becomes a because they're all going to be mad at you unless it was a legit fight and it truly was on them for not being ready enough or making bad decisions, or the worst of all, the dice just kicked the crap out of them. I mean, if it was a completely fair fight and they didn't, and they rolled an absurd number of ones and you rolled an absurd number of 20s, that's literally how the game is supposed to go. So the answer in that case, where if it's a fair fight, is for everybody to go out and have a beer, or if you're under 21 in America, perhaps go have some pizza and some soda. I don't know everybody's age drink limits in every country.
So here's the thing: if you do cheat as a game master, don't get caught. Because
Yeah.
if the players find out you're fudging things behind the table, they'll feel like all of the suspense, all of the whatever they do, it doesn't matter anymore. Because you're changing things behind the scenes, so they're either always going to win or always going to lose or always going to it. If you change things too much and get caught, your players are going to resent you.
That's absolutely true. There are some things that can ruin a game. If this is not actually cheating, but it's a good example of it. If a character in your campaign dies, Corey's character dies, I'm running the game. If I then go, you know what, his character was a cleric, his god says, well, he served well, I resurrect him, and his character suddenly gets back up. The players at the table are no longer going to feel like anything matters. It's going to start to kill the campaign for you. At the same time, you can't make it too easy. You can't make it too hard. And you absolutely can't get caught changing the numbers or because that makes them feel like this isn't a fair fight. It's either you're either going to let them win or you're trying to kill them. That's what's going to happen if they catch you. So it becomes a really hard issue.
Yep.
Yep.
That's all you have to say about that. That's why I try not to cheat as much as possible. But I do let the players know beforehand what kind of difficulty they're facing. I will definitely say, hey guys, this adventure, if there's not 4 of you in it, it's going to be really hard. And Howard always says, what do you always say to that? You can change these things.
I'm sorry, I do not remember.
You always say, no, adventures are elastic. You just change it. Change it, Corey. Just change there's not all 4 of us.
Okay, that's true.
You can run it with 3. Just take out 2 or 3 NPCs or something like that.
The idea that I had kind of grown up with was expandable, contractible plots. You can make the difficulty harder or easier based on the number of people playing and how powerful they were, so that you can take a module and really meant for D&D 5e, Lost Mines of Foundelver. If you mix in with the goblins some wolves and some other things, give them a couple of bugbear friends that are hanging out in that first encounter, because there are bugbears in Lost Mines. But if you put them in the first encounter, you can then throw it against a group of levels 5 to 10, and they still feel somewhat challenged. So yeah, you're right. You can, and I have said that, you can make things harder or easier. However, you can't do it mid-combat. That's when it starts to become weird.
Yeah. I don't actually like doing that, and I'll tell you why I don't like doing that. One, I feel that if this is the adventure I'm running, I want to run the adventure and give people the full experience of the adventure. I don't want them to feel like, well, when we ran it, you said this was this. And I'm like, well, there were only 3 of you, or there were too many of you, or so you didn't get the exact experience. And 2 is rewards. If there is if somebody left this game and there's only 3 of you instead of 4 of you, so I scaled the encounter back, but you still got the same magical items, then you got the same reward for less work.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I've had issues where I ran an epic campaign once. It was not in D&D, but it was actually in D6 Fantasy, and the players, I had them super paranoid and frightened of my big bad evil guy, or in this case, girl, which was she was a demon that would possess the bodies of dead people, so she could appear as any random person as long as she had a dead body to wear as like a skin, and she would repair it. It wouldn't look like a zombie; it would look like a perfectly healthy person. So when they finally were ready to fight her, they had gone through an incredible amount of trouble. They had done a magical ritual to ensure that her next summoning to the plane they were on would be into a body that they could control instead of whatever one she had summoned to on purpose. They had ruined that. So something would happen to where they could control it, and the body that they had ready for, they cut off the arms and legs of. They put her inside of that body inside of a special cage made out of a specific type of metal called mithril, or true silver, that she was particularly vulnerable to, and she can't regenerate any damage caused to her by true silver. And then on top of that, they had holy water ready. They had everything ready to deal with this demon. And then when the ritual happened to summon her back to the plane by her cult, as they had planned, it didn't happen correctly, and instead her body, her demon soul or whatever, arrived in the body they had prepared, with no arms and no legs, inside of the true silver cage. And then they had a guy who could shape metal as a magical power, and he shaped that cage to suddenly be full of spikes that rammed through her. I mean, they killed the crap out of her. And then afterwards, they were like, "We feel that you made the final battle too easy." I was like, "You went through so much work to make it so easy. You researched the crap out of everything. You found every weakness she had and exploited to levels
They worked harder. They worked smarter, not harder."
And then when it happened, they went, "You could have made that harder. We were really disappointed in the end of this campaign." They loved the campaign all the way up until the final battle. And that's why I was like, okay, so despite all of that, I guess I should have cheated as a GM or a GM, Game Master, because it wasn't D&D. I should have cheated and been like, she regenerates around the bars and you can see her body sizzle. In other words, just giving her extra hit points.
You missed a henchman. You missed a henchman, and he's stopping you while it's happening.
A good twist. But yeah, I could have added more stuff in. But I thought they'd done such a good job, I didn't see the need to do it. And then I kind of screwed the game a little bit because I left them with that, I thought this would be a more climactic battle. I'm like, not based on what you left her with. She had nothing. Because I ran it exactly as the rules were written with the character I created per the rules of that system. I was like, nah, they got her. She's pretty much toast. That did it.
So we're running out of time. We're running out of time, Howard. I think we've covered a lot on cheating. If you know more about cheating, if you want to talk about it, please put it in the comments when this becomes a recorded episode, and we'll go through all of them on the next episode.
What is your favorite method of cheating? How do you get away with it?
How do you get away with it?
Let us know, because we want to stop you, because that's super annoying.
We're coming for you. We always like to end out the episode with a little segment I call Back of the Book, where we talk about some interesting gaming stuff that you might not know of, or maybe you do, but it's kind of quirky and fun, and we like it. Howard's gonna do something, but I superseded him today.
He did.
Because over my social media, I got a strange competition or like some weird tribalism coming over social media about how you write your ability scores. So on your screen right here, we have two types of how you write your ability scores. One with your ability score is the biggest part and your modifier small, and the other one with the modifier big and the ability score small.
This is Dungeons and Dragons specific.
Yes, this is definitely for Dungeons and Dragons. How do you write your ability scores on your character sheet? So I have to say, when I first started playing D&D 5th edition, I would do it with my ability score as the larger number. But as soon as I typed it into a digital character sheet, it would make the modifier the bigger number. And I went, wait, what? And then I kind of, who cares about your 18 strength? The plus 4 is the actual number that matters.
That's absolutely true.
You don't use it. Yeah. I think Howard's on board with me here.
I literally had the exact same experience, and it's because I played first edition, second edition, and moving up. And the older games, you put your number down because you put down your 18 strength and your whatever, your 14 dex. And that affected for strength, bend bars, and lift gates, and all these other things that are no longer things.
Yeah.
Or for dex, your ability to pick locks or hide in shadows. All of those abilities are gone. We have skills now for all of that. And that's somewhere else on the character sheet. So it's a different thing.
Some RPGs that are D20, like Mutants and Masterminds, have gone ahead and gotten rid of the 3 through 18 score and just use your ability modifier.
Yep.
Which is interesting. But hey, it wouldn't be Dungeons and Dragons if you didn't have an 18 something, right? An 18 strength or whatever.
Unless somebody makes you use a point buy system, Corey.
I don't like random ability scores, all right? So
I actually do. I completely appreciate the fact that everybody's character is equal to everybody else's. But at the same time, there is a part of me that's like, I missed that chance to have that one max stat of doom.
Hey, maybe one day we'll play a game like Traveler, and then you can randomly roll everything and die before you even play. How's that sound?
That sounds like a plan, and a good night to all of y'all.
Yes, thank you for watching. Remember to comment and subscribe, and check out the adventure I made down in the description. And remember that there's no level cap on life. Never stop gaining experience.